in Britain, and honestly, I think that it's going to come to a head at some point when someone on the other side does something terrible, because I think that's really where this is going. I mean, as you can see, the flag campaign is still going very strong. It's being called contentious by the mayor of Manchester, Greater Manchester, which is great. And then, of course, we had this video of the two sisters going around. The one with the knife and the axe being the younger one, who the older sister is trying to protect from an immigrant who is filming and harassing her. Now, Basil here is right to point out that you hear the fear in their voices. I'm not sure how exactly to put this, but this is evidently not the first time that this has happened to these girls. They didn't choose one day to go out armed and then happen to coincidentally bump into a migrant who was going to harass them in the streets. This has clearly happened before. God only knows what's happened to them before, which is why they felt the need to arm themselves. So I'm not surprised that they sound terrified, frankly. And yes, she was of course arrested for brandishing dangerous weapons, but of course the migrants are just fed to the wolves, as Charmaine here points out. And this was in Scotland as well. This wasn't even in England. But this is just the reality of being in Britain. And in fact, Europe more broadly, but I'll cover that again tomorrow on the podcast. The authorities are here to make sure you are under control. They don't really see the new arrivals as being under their legitimate authority. They've got their own customs. They've got their own ways. They have a different way of looking at the world, and you are a racist. So you are the one who's policed, because you, it is expected, will cooperate with the police. And this really does just hammer home the point, doesn't it? When daughters need to arm themselves against new arrivals on the streets, how much longer can liberals pretend multiculturalism is working? And moreover, is there a limit to the number of children that they're going to sacrifice to their ideals? And the answer to that, you and I both know, is that no, there is no limit. There is literally no limit to the number of dead or raped children that the liberal will say, you know what, maybe I was wrong about this. Maybe actually this isn't what I was after. Maybe actually people from different places on the earth are actually different and actually not compatible. They will never, ever back down from this, you know. But you see this kind of mythologizing of this young lady going around, and this is lovely. This and it is nice that our American friends are doing this, but it is a damning indictment of what is happening in this country. And the AI art makes her look honestly braver than she was. It's not that she's not brave, obviously, but she's also terrified. She's also deeply afraid. And I saw people saying, well, you know, women voted for this. It's like, well, look, man, she's like 12. She didn't vote for any of this. This has been done to her. And honestly, many of the victims of multiculturalism are in the same boat. These are people who are not people who chose to have this. They were way too young to make any choices, and they had it inflicted upon them. So anyway, we're in the position where this meme is not even inaccurate. You can either defend yourself and get arrested, or you can leave yourself to the tender mercies of the imported rapists. And the government knows which side they're on. They know, and they've made the choice. Then you get other people pointing out, the reason this photo resonates with people is because we are beginning to understand the physicality of the conflict. We are abandoning abstractions after years of deludedly believing we could vote our way out of this mess. Well, the thing is, it will still be voting that does actually, to be honest, be voting that does actually resolve this in the end, to be honest. Believe it or not, I know that a lot of people don't hear it, but we will end up voting a hard right government into power, and they will eventually denaturalize and deport millions of foreigners who are allowed to come here against our will. That's how this is going to end up going. There isn't going to be some sort of race war as it is. There will be sectarian conflict, but it won't be directed by the states. It won't be something that is There won't be armies fighting over things. It won't be a civil war as we traditionally understand it. But eventually, a hard-right government, democracy will limp along, and eventually a hard-right government will get into power with promises of just removing these people from our lands. And that's what will happen. Because again, I know Americans and Europeans have trouble believing it, but the British Parliament is completely sovereign. We can do with it what we want, and we just have to have the will to make it do the things we actually need it to do. But anyway, so you, of course, are aware that the Restore Britain rape gang inquiry is underway, and my goodness, already, they haven't even released like any major findings yet, but already that Charlie's involved with it. And he says, we don't know the true scale of these atrocities, but this new data, you can be sure there's only 1 or 2 degrees of separation from you to someone directly affected. 85 local authorities across Britain have Islamic rape gangs. And of course, Elon here, the Quisling collaborators should be charged with aiding rape and in some cases murder and spend a long time in prison. They absolutely should. And that would be a lot of Labour Party councillors and MPs who would go to jail for a long time if we lived in a country that actually valued the sanctity of our children. I mean, the Conservatives could have done this at any point, right? The Conservatives could be like, wait a minute, are these Labour councillors actually, and all these Labour-run police, are they all involved with the grooming gangs? Oh, they are. Oh, well, you guys are in trouble because we're sending you to jail forever, is what they could have done. But no, it takes the independent movement, Restore Britain, hopefully funded by Elon Musk, to actually get any motion on this. But like I said, we're going to get a hard-right government at some point, and man, I tell you, when it comes, the whiplash is going to be brutal. Absolutely brutal. Nick Dixon is correct to frame it as the greatest atrocity in our history. And it really is. It's genuinely hard to think of anything worse that has happened to the British people. And mostly it's in England, but you can see it's in other areas as well. Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland, you can see. And like I said, this is just crazy. Absolutely crazy. But it's always the same profile. It's always the same people. And apparently it was going on since the 1950s, they have found. So the moment that they got here, they started doing it. Now, one might ask, well, what are things like in Pakistan for young women and girls? Well, who knows? Anyway, Elon said that he would like to help fund the legal actions against corrupt officials who aided and abetted the rape of Britain, as per the official government inquiry. Please reply below for consideration. The thing is, this isn't an official government inquiry. The Labour Party did say they were going to hold an official government inquiry, but of course, what's that? Crickets? Yes, we've heard nothing on it. Absolutely nothing. Rupert Lowe and Restore Britain are the only people actually doing anything about this. I mean, Nigel Farage said he was going to do one. Where's that? What happened to that? Again, disappeared into the ether because really it's not a big deal for them. But of course, you've got loads of people giving some great suggestions on how to help and things like that, which is wonderful. And it would be great if Elon were to support these people and support getting this done. That would be amazing. And it would be like, thank God we've got someone somewhere who cares, right? Because really that's what this is all about. It's just a lack of giving a damn about what has happened to the children of this country. But again, you can feel the momentum rising. You can feel the pressure building. This isn't going to be something that they're going to be able to sweep under the rug. Too many people were hurt. Too many lives have been ruined. Too much has happened. And this is what the flagging campaign is about. It is this overall sense of sovereignty of the British people, in particular the English people, over their own country. We have been abused and taken advantage of for far too long. And you can feel the time is coming that this is not going to go on forever. This is definitely coming to an end. And Elon, of course, has spotted that Nigel Farage is, once again, behind the times. Now, Nigel came out and said that he was going to deport 600,000 illegal immigrants in his first year. Why so low? Why not more? We know that there are at least going to be about 2 million illegal immigrants in the country, but there are going to be, and the rest, what about all of those other ones? Why not deport them all? Like, go through the communities with, deportation squads. Let me see your paper. Are you illegal? You're illegal. Right, get out. Because these communities are an anchor to the illegals. So the first thing you do is stop benefits, stop housing benefits, stop access to the NHS, and then you just go through these communities and start making sure the people who are here legally, then you deport them. Then you denaturalise the Boris wave and deport them too. And the combined efforts of manually removing them the illegals, and just turning off the benefits will just encourage millions of them to just leave. They'll just go because they'll realize, oh no, wait, the British state isn't just going to pour gold into my pockets and punish the people who object to this now. They're actually now, I'm on the outside now, and the British state is working for the British people, so actually I'm just going to leave. And this would be such an easy series of wins for Nigel. But of course, Elon's got his number. Unfortunately, the reality is that Farage will do almost nothing to protect Britain. That is obvious. He called it back in January, or whenever it was. I think it was back in January, when he said Farage isn't the guy, and he's right. Existing law is clear that anyone who is an accessory to aggravated rape or murder, especially of children, is guilty of a serious crime and must serve time either in prison if a citizen or be deported if not. The government simply needs to enforce the law. Now, of course, a Labour government would never enforce this law because they'd be their people they'd be sending to jail or deporting. But a different government could easily do it, and Nigel Farage could easily commit to this. He could easily commit to doing this to the Labour Party. But as Rupert said, no, he doesn't have what it takes. Ben Habib, no, he doesn't have what it takes. Again, Advance is Ben Habib's party. Go and join it. It's the best we've got. So go and help him out. Go join it. Why not? What harm can it do if we have somewhere politically that we can go to? But again, like this is all things whose time are coming, and you can see how Farage. A year ago, he was saying to Stephen Edgington, oh no, mass deportation is not feasible. I don't want my name attached to mass deportations. It's not my ambition. To now, I will mass deport 600,000 of them. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, really? Why is that? Because the tide is turning, right? The pressure is building. They can't just call you a racist. They can't just diffuse this. Things are way too far gone for that. And so things are slowly but surely changing.
That's fucking crazy. Y'all turned these little girls into Vikings. Y'all made them turn into old times. That is insane. That is insane, but that's also sad that a child has to like do that to protect themselves, you know? It's crazy. Like they have no options and they gotta survive. That's really crazy. This guy literally is talking rubbish. I always say being old doesn't mean you're wise. You know what I mean? There are fools who also grow old. And this guy right here, I'm not calling him a fool, but this guy is talking rubbish, a lot of rubbish. And if you're grown and you can't differentiate between somebody talking rubbish and the truth, you need to get checked up. You're wrong. You know what I mean? You need some medicine. Go book an appointment with a therapist. Because this guy says most people from different countries can't get along and stuff. That is wrong. It's not different types of people. It's some type of people. You know what I mean? We have if I know people have ever encountered these people from other places and they want to be doctors, they want to be this and that. They are well behaved, like good students, good ass people, and these immigrants are ruining for these people, good ass people. You know what I mean? So the problem isn't um different from other places. It's some type of people. You know, I mean, somebody who's on survival mode. So these people who are doing this type of stuff are people who are on survival mode. They're trying to survive. They're doing their best. You know what I mean? And what do? They come to this country when they hurt other girls. What they do? They're on panic mode. They're not doing their best. Girls, what do? They always choose somebody who are doing their best in life. And especially when you're changing cultural, like let's say you are Indian coming to America or Indian to this or from Africa to this, you have to know when changing races in terms of a relationship, you have to be the best of your best to even somebody consider them because they're changing their type for you. So you gotta be different. So they come here, they're not doing good, you know what I mean? And so they're not in the best. What do they resonate? They're on panic mode, they're in emergency mode. What do they do? When you're in panic mode, you do a lot of shit without thinking. You feel me? That's why you see them stealing and all this stuff. But it's some type of people, it's not all people. So this guy right here is spreading false news, and that's just wrong. You know what I mean? We need to find a solution. I actually was thinking about, hey, they should have a little bit of community so that they know who is doing what, where are they, where are them. You know what I mean? They got the whole community where they connect who they know, who's doing this and that, so they don't doing it for the good as people. They know each other. They know who's doing this, that, and then be like, oh, you can't ruin it for the people um, who are doing good and are obeying laws and all this stuff here, you know? So I think that would be a good solution that they stay connected, every person, so that they know who's who, who's doing what, and they, you know what I mean, they act accordingly. Like, yo, don't ruin it for the other people. You know what I mean? And I was talking to somebody and they were saying, oh, they were feeling sorry. You know what I mean? Good for them. They were saying, oh, let these people come and all this stuff. But like that fight to get a better life, you could have fought your government for you to have a better life there. You know what I mean? Because you're going there and you're going to another country, and for you to thrive, it's not gonna be easy because the government and their people are gonna let their people thrive first, like a mother who will let their kids thrive first for you to thrive. So it's gonna take you a lot of time, and then you're gonna end up stressed, saying, "Oh, they don't want me to thrive," and all this stuff. Like those are their people. They what they're gonna do? Their people come first, you know. So it's a really really sad part, but yeah. Our race already happened. You know what I mean? Our race war already happened. They were fighting and they were started beating at these people. I saw it. So kind of already happened, but I don't think it would escalate to a point where it's like a civil war or something. But they already started fighting each other, and and what the government should do instead of just helping all these people because you can't save everyone, their people need to come together in their country and ask help for this other country to come help them so they can build their home good so that they can thrive. They need to stand up for their government. They need to not be going to another country to trying to have a better life. They need to be fighting for a better life for them and their future kids because you know it's not doing them good. Going to another country, like I said, you can't thrive because the people somehow always be coming first because they're from there. You know what I mean? So. mm, I ain't gonna lie, I've been seeing on the internet, like the English parliament or some of the government, they're sorry as hell. I've been seeing, I ain't gonna lie, I've been seeing a lot of things that are just sad because you can't even show patriotism because, oh, you're gonna be seen as a racist and all this stuff, you know? And it's crazy. And the flags that have been flying over there, it's not even from that country, it's just been looking sad, you know? And like, that's my opinion. You know what I mean? It's not. I know the other people are just trying to show them love. They're trying to spread the news and all this stuff, but we should be looking both sides. You know what I mean? These people are also trying to show their love and all this stuff, but at the same time, you can't be uh, bringing the country's flag down, but they're helping you, banning it, and all this stuff. Like, what are you doing? Show some love. When you come somebody else, somewhere else, you are representing your whole people. You should be behaving. That goes to every race. White people also do their part. They'll be like, oh, I'm gonna take accountability for my people because if I'm being racist, this person, the whole of my race are gonna be seen as racist. And who knows where somebody gonna hit them? They're gonna look at them bad. Maybe I'm gonna travel to Africa one day to the black people. Even in the UK, you're spreading the bad name. People, I'm seeing you out with knives and all this stuff. I'm like, what is going on? Like, come on. Like, come on, they need to come up together and help themselves come out from that. Sometimes poverty sends these people to the wrong path, but still, send them with knives, attacking people, snatching phones. Damn, sending a bad word. You need to know your future kids, your future grandkids. Maybe they was gonna come, but now they ain't gonna come because you or somebody you knew that you didn't stop did something bad. You should always know when multiculturalism is there, you need to behave because you're sending the message. You're representing your whole race or your country and all this sort of stuff. Shout out to Elon, man. I saw there was a point where he also set up the satellites for a country that was under attack and all this stuff is good and all. But I'm not talking about Elon, but don't be accepting free lunch. You never know what somebody's intentions is. You know what I mean? Don't be accepting free lunch like that. Free help and always question why they have me. What would they want? You know? because you never know. You never know. Maybe they're trying to improve their legacy, stamp their name. Maybe they always want something back, and that's a favor. I need to look at it like that. Don't just be sitting there saying, "Oh, this and that." Yo, watch out. So, but I'm not saying that's Elon and all this stuff. Elon, maybe he is a good guy. Like I said, he put them satellites on a country that was attacked, and they could use the internet and all this stuff. And that was shout out to him. But I'm just saying in general, I mean, if something you can solve, solve. If sometimes in life you can't go some places without help. You know, happens. So you need to accept help, and when you do accept help, pay it back as fast as possible. Like here, because that favor is a debt. It's a debt. What I mean? They will be expecting you to pay. So he's right towards the end, though. He said, the British people are having enough, and that's what happens. Some people take um things for granted. You know what I mean? Oh, this and that, blah blah blah. I heard somebody said, "Oh, this government is shit and all this stuff," until the tables turned. You know what I mean? I remember there was this country where and dual citizenship was allowed and all this stuff, and the people were started talking shit about the government. The government was like, "Oh, one day, the right wing almost came into power, and what did they say?" So like, "Oh, the dualship is gone." You know what I mean? If you have, then you're getting deported. Now they started getting quiet and complaining, but he was talking shit. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you take shit for granted, it comes and hits you back. The walls listen. You know what I mean? So most of these people were taking credit for all this help they were getting, all these years and all this stuff, acting up, and then it's gonna come back and bite them. You know what I mean? So the problem is on them. Like, of course, they will get enough. You know what they're supposed to do. So yeah. So I feel like the right wing parties are going to come into power soon, and they're gonna be ruthless. You know what I mean? The ruthless, I don't mean like brutal and all this stuff, like beheading and all this stuff, like more times, but they're gonna be stricter. I mean, this left wing was softer, making sure everybody has rights and all this stuff. But these are gonna be like stricter parents. You know what I mean? Not a lot of things are gonna slide because they had the time and nothing was working, and that's just the reality. You saw what happened in the U.S. The left wing had their chance, but they're fucking up until the American people also was like, oh, no, this is not working for us. What happened? Trump came into power. You know what I mean? And people may not agree with me, a lot of people, but I'm saying I saw a lot of people, even some of my closest friends were angry that I said, oh, I support Trump coming to power, even though there's some things I don't agree with him. There's some things he did wrong, he said wrong, and those stuff. I don't agree with everything. But the reason why I said this is before he came into power, there was you could see I heard like other countries are on the US's like war. They were trying to attack US, and I have people that I know there that I cherish, friends and all this stuff. And of course, these are people I don't want them to go to war. But what about now? It's already been past a year. I don't see no fucking all World War III and all this stuff. These rights that these people wanted were like more important than their right. These rights that they wanted were more important than the peace. Like, wow, how are you gonna exercise and enjoy these rights without peace from away from war? That doesn't make any sense. There has to be peace away from war, and then you can enjoy these rights. Priorities, and I'm glad that happened. So I'm glad that they're not in war right now. The world is not buying in the US and all this stuff. So let things calm down, and then we'll see how it goes in the future. So what should I think about this situation? This situation is crazy, and it needs to be, poor babies actually. And you know what I mean? You never know until you have a kid, then you know how this is bad. That's somebody's daughter, family member, friend, So you can imagine for her to go to that state is crazy. I hope they find a solution soon. Tell me what you think about the situation. And yeah.